All right. Good evening. Let's have some supper. Spiritual supper. Starting at Genesis chapter 32. And Yaakov went on his way, and the messengers of Elohim met him. And when Yaakov saw them, he said, "This is the camp of Elohim." And he called the name of that place Mahanaim. Mahanaim. And Yaakov sent messengers before him to Esau, his brother, in the land of Seir, the field of Edom. And he commanded them, saying, "Say this to my master Esau. Your servant Yaakov said this, I have sojourned with Laban and stayed there until now. And I have bulls and donkeys, flocks, and male and female servants. And I have sent to inform my master to find favor in your eyes." So the messengers returned to Yaakov, saying, "We came to your brother Esau, and he also is coming to meet you, and 400 men with him." And Yaakov was greatly afraid and distressed. So he divided the people that were with him, and the flocks and herds and camels into 2 groups. And he said, "If Esau comes to the one group and strikes it, then the other group which is left shall escape." And Yaakov said to Elohim, of my father Abraham, and Elohim of my father Yitzhak, Jehovah, who said to me, "Return to the land and to your relatives, and I do good to you. I do not deserve the least of all the loving commitment and all the truth which you have shown your servant. For I passed over this Jordan with my staff, and now I have become 2 groups. Deliver me, I pray, from the hand of my brother, from the hand of Esau, for I fear him, lest he come and shall strike me and the mother with the children. For you say, I shall certainly do good to you, and shall make your seed as the sand of the sea, which are too numerous to count." And he spent the night there, and took what came to his hand as a present for Esau his brother: 200 female goats, and 20 male goats, 200 ewes, and 20 rams, 30 suckling camels with their colts, 40 cows, and 10 bulls, 20 female donkeys, and 10 foals. And he gave into the hand of his servant every drove by itself, and said to his servants, "Pass over before me, and put some distance between drove and drove." And he commanded the first one, saying, "When Esau my brother meets you and asks you, saying, 'To whom do you belong, and where are you going? And whose are these in front of you?' then you shall say, 'They are your servants, Yaakov's. It is a present sent to my master Esau, and see, he also is behind us.'" So he commanded the second and the third, and all who followed the drove, saying, "Speak to Esau this same word when you find him. And you shall say, also, look, your servant Yaakov is behind us. For he said, 'Let me appease him with the present that goes before me, and after that see his face, he might accept me.' And the present passed over before him, but he himself spent the night at the camp. And he rose up that night, and took his 2 wives and his 2 female servants, and his 11 sons, and passed over the ford of Jabbok. And he took them, and sent them over the stream, and sent over what he had. And Yaakov was left alone, and a man wrestled with him until the breaking of day. And when he saw that he did not overcome him, he touched the socket of his hip, and the socket of Yaakov's hip was dislocated as he wrestled with him. And he said, "Let me go, for the day breaks." But he said, "I am not letting you go until you have blessed me." So he asked him, "What is your name?" And he said, "Yaakov." And he said, "Your name is no longer called Yaakov, but Yisrael, because you have striven with Elohim and with men and have overcome." And Yaakov asked him, saying, "Please let me know your name." And he said, "Why do you ask about my name?" And he blessed him there. And Yaakov called the name of that place Peniel, for I have seen Elohim face to face, and my life is preserved. And the sun rose on him as he passed over Penuel, and he limped on his hip. That is why the children of Israel to this day do not eat the sinew of the hip, which is on the socket of the thigh, because he touched the socket of the thigh of Yaakov in the sinew of the hip. And Yaakov lifted his eyes and looked and saw Esau coming, and with him 400 men. And he divided the children among Leah and Rachel and the 2 female servants. And he put the female servants and their children in front, and Leah and her children behind, and Rachel and Joseph last. And he himself passed over before them, and bowed himself to the ground 7 times, until he came near to his brother. And Esau ran to meet him, and embraced him, and fell on his neck, and kissed him, and they wept. And he lifted his eyes, and saw the women and children, and said, "Who are these with you?" And he said, "The children with whom Elohim has favored your servant." Then the female servants came near, they and their children, and bowed themselves. And Leah also came near with her children, and they bowed themselves. And Joseph and Rachel came near, and they bowed themselves. Then Esau said, "What do you mean by all this company which I met?" And he said, "To find favor in the eyes of my master." But Esau said, "I have enough, my brother. Let what you have remain yours." And Yaakov said, "No, please. If I have now found favor in your eyes, then receive my present from my hand, because I have seen your face like seeing the face of Elohim, and you were pleased with me. Please, take my blessing that is brought to you, because Elohim has favored me, and because I have all I need." And he urged him, and he took it. And he said, "Let us depart and go, and let me go before you." But he said to him, "My master knows that the children are weak, and the flocks and herds which are nursing are with me. And if the men should drive them hard, one day all the flocks shall die. Please let my master go before his servant, and let me lead on slowly according to the pace of the livestock that go before me, and according to the pace of the children, until I come to my master in Seir." And Esau said, "Please let me leave with you some of the people who are with me." But he said, "Why this? Let me find favor in the eyes of my master." And Esau returned that day on his way to Seir, and Yaakov set out to Succoth, and built himself a house, and made booths for his livestock. That is why the name of the place is called Sukkoth. And Yaakov came safely to the city of Shechem, which is in the land of Canaan. When he came to Padan Aram, and he pitched his tent before the city, and he brought the portion of the field where he had pitched his tent from the children of Hamor, Shechem's father, for 100 kesitah. And he set up a slaughter place there, and called it El Elohe Yisrael. And Dinah, the daughter of Leah, whom she had borne to Yaakov, went out to see the daughters of the land. And Shechem, son of Hamor, the Hivite, prince of the land, saw her, and took her, and lay with her, and humbled her. And his being clung to Dinah, the daughter of Yaakov, and he loved the girl, and spoke kindly to the girl. And Shechem spoke to his father Hamor, saying, Take this girl from me for a wife. And Yaakov heard that he had defiled Dinah his daughter. Now his sons were with his livestock in the fields, so Yaakov kept silent until they came. And Hamor, the father of Shechem, went out to Yaakov to speak with him. And the sons of Yaakov came in from the field when they heard it. And the men were grieved and very wroth, because he had done a senseless deed in Yisrael by lying with Yaakov's daughter, which should not be done. But Hamor spoke with them, saying, My son Shechem's being longs for your daughter. Please give him her to be his wife, and intermarry with us. Give us your daughters, and take our daughters for yourselves, and dwell with us, and let the land be before you. Dwell and move about in it, and have possession in it. And Shechem said to her father and her brothers, Let me find favor in your eyes, and whatever you say to me I give. Ask of me a bribe, price, and gift ever so high, and I give according to what you say to me, and give me the girl for a wife. But the sons of Yaakov answered Shechem and Hamor his father, and spoke with deceit, because he had defiled Dinah their sister. They said to them, We are not able to do this matter, to give our sister to one who is uncircumcised, for that would be a reproach to us. Only on this condition would we agree to you, if you become as we are, to have every male of you circumcised. Then we shall give our daughters to you, and take your daughters to us, and we shall dwell with you, and shall become one people. But if you do not listen to us, and be circumcised, we shall take our daughter and go. And their words pleased Hamor and Shechem, Hamor's son, and the young man did not delay to do this because he delighted in Yaakov's daughter. Now he was more respected than all the household of his father. And Hamor and Shechem, his son, came to the gate of their city and spoke with the men of their city, saying, These men are at peace with us, so let them dwell in the land and move about in it. And see, the land is large enough for them, and let us take their daughters for us for wives, and let us give them our daughters. Only on this condition would the men agree to dwell with us, to be one people, if every male among us is circumcised as they are circumcised. Their herds and their possessions and all their beasts, should they not be ours? Let us agree with them, and let them dwell with us. And all who went out of the gate of his city listened to Hamor and Shechem, his son. Every male was circumcised, all who went out of the gate of the city. And it came to be on the third day, when they were in pain, that two of the sons of Yaakov, Shimon and Levi, Dinah's brothers, each took his sword and came boldly upon the city and killed all the males. And they killed Hamor and Shechem his son, with the edge of the sword, and took Dinah from Shechem's house, and went out. The sons of Yaakov came upon the slain and plundered the city, because they had defiled their sister. They took their flocks and their herds and their donkeys, and that which was in the city, and that which was in the field, and all their wealth, and all their little ones, and their wives they took captive, and they plundered all that was in the houses. And Yaakov said to Shimon and Levi, "You have troubled me by making me a stench among the inhabitants of the land, among the Canaanites and the Perizzites. And I am few in number. They shall gather, and I shall be destroyed, my household and I." But they said, "Should he treat our sister like a whore?" And Elohim said to Yaakov, "Arise, go to Bethel and dwell there, and make a slaughter place there to El, who appeared to you when you fled from the face of Esau your brother." And Yaakov said to his household and to all who were with him, "Put away the foreign mighty ones that are among you, and cleanse yourselves, and change your garments. And let us arise and go up to Bethel, and let me make there a slaughter place to El, who answers me in the day of my distress, and has been with me in the way which I have gone." So they gave Yaakov all the foreign mighty ones which were in their hands, and all their enemies which were in their earrings, all their earrings which were in their ears, and Yaakov hid them under the terebinth tree which was near Shechem. And they departed, and the fear of Elohim was upon the cities that were all around them, and they did not pursue the sons of Yaakov. And Yaakov came to Luz, that is Bethel, which is in the land of Canaan, he and all the people who were with him. And he built there a slaughter place, and called the place El Bethel, because there Elohim appeared to him when he fled from the face of his brother. And Deborah, Ribkah's nurse, died, and she was buried below Bethel under the terebinth tree. So the name of it was called Allon Bakuth. And Elohim appeared to Yaakov again when he came from Padan Aram, and blessed him. And Elohim said to him, "Your name is Yaakov. Your name is no longer called Yaakov, but Yisrael is your name." So he called his name Yisrael. And Elohim said to him, "I am El Shaddai. Be fruitful and increase. A nation and a company of nations shall be from you, and sovereigns come from your body. And the land which I gave to Abraham and Yitzhak I give to you, and to your seed after you I give this land." And Elohim went up from him in the place where he had spoken with him. And Yaakov set up a standing column in that place where he had spoken with him, a monument of stone. And he poured a drink offering on it, and he poured oil on it. And Yaakov called the name of that place where Elohim spoke with him, Bethel. Then they set out from Bethel, and it came to be, when there was but a little distance to go, Ephrath and Rahel began to give birth, and had great difficulty giving birth. And it came to be, as she was having great difficulty giving birth, that the midwife said to her, "Do not fear, for it is another son for you." And it came to be, as her life was going out, for she died, that she called his name Ben-Oni, but his father called him Ben-Yamin. So Rahel died and was buried on the way to Ephrath, that is Bethlehem. And Yaakov set a standing column on her burial place, which is the monument of Rahel's burial place to this day. And Yisrael set out and pitched his tent beyond the tower of Eder. And it came to be when Yisrael dwelt in the land, that Reuben went and lay with Bilhah his father's concubine, and Yisrael heard about it. Now the sons of Yaakov were 12. The sons of Leah were Reuben, Yaakov's firstborn, and Shimon, and Levi, and Yehudah, and Issachar, and Zebulun. And the sons of Rahel were Joseph and Benjamin. And sons of Bilhah, Rahel's female servants, were Dan and Naphtali. And the sons of Zilpah, Leah's female servants, were Gad and Asher. These were the sons of Yaakov, who were born to him in Paddan Aram. And Yaakov came to his father Yitzhak at Mamre, or Kiriath Arba, that is Hebron, when Abraham and Yitzhak had dwelt. And the days of Yitzhak were 180 years. So Yitzhak breathed his last and died, and was gathered to his people, aged and satisfied of days, and his sons Esau and Yaakov buried him.